Uh-oh. What are you doing, bud? Oh, now that you're being filmed? Really? Okay, so this is Bob. You all know Bob. He does a good job. I'm sure that could become a poem. This. This is Noor. Noor, you guys have met. His left wing, he doesn't seem to be able to move it. He'll wing slap me with his right side. Yeah. He's very scared of everything. I'm working on that, but that's why he's not out. If I take him out, he'll just he'll find a really difficult spot to hide in that will take me half the day to figure out. He's very good at hiding. So here he's safe. He's got food and water, but yeah, he's backed all the way up because he's terrified of me, even though I've been feeding him and taking care of him for like a month. This is Scuttle. You guys know Scuttle. She's the most aggressive pidge that I have. Yeah, oh my gosh, so aggressive. Yeah. There's Bob, there's Fancy. So, this is Deu and Penguin. I have them shut in right now just because we're about to leave and go to a friend's house, and it's almost time for them to roost anyway. Deku on the left, Penguin on the right. I guess it's pretty obvious why we named him Penguin. Deku was the second Pidge we ever rescued. Her husband Pidgey was the first one. Pidgey we got in 2018, and he passed in 2019 because somebody set off fireworks outside of our home, and I think scared him to death. I think his heart gave out. I just found him gone the next day. There were no wounds. He wasn't sick. But Deku, we got in the same city as Pidgey. She was a little baby, and her leg was hurt. So Pidgey was almost an adult when we got her, and she grew up, got a big crush on him, and they naturally became a couple. And we moved, and Pidgey passed. Anyway, Pidgey passed, and then we saw a post about him. He was a baby as well. Brought him over. Now, Penguin is very, very smart. I can't remember. I don't think I've shown pictures of it, but his sears are starting to get more mass to them, and there's a couple of domestic breeds that have that trait, and they're I think some of them are homers, and homers are very, very smart. So Penguin has always been a freaking genius. Penguin has always been a genius. When he grew up, he didn't exhibit any male behaviors, right? And we thought, so him and Deku got close, and obviously they were mates, but Penguin was not acting like a mate. And then I think, well, Deku laid, she laid a couple of eggs, and we didn't know which one did it, but we thought, well, you know, I asked some pigeon experts, and they told me that female friends, sometimes they'll get hormonal and they'll lay infertile eggs just because they're bonded or something, and I believe that. So after I'd thrown the first egg away, I was like, well, let them have this infertile egg if it makes them happy. Now, these were like, we didn't have many birds back then, so I didn't really have fakes. So, yeah, anyway, eventually that egg hatched, and it was Pidgeotto over here, who is married to Carrie. And I'll tell you guys more about her in a minute, about both of them. But anyway, after the egg hatched, Penguin dropped all pretenses and he started acting like a typical male. He was trying to fool us. Every single crazy plot he's concocted has been with the sole purpose of making sure that their eggs are hatched. He figured out one point that I was replacing them with fakes, and he knows that to this day. He's tried, him and Deku have tried so many secret spots. The most ingenious plan that Penguin tried once was he started not sleeping in the cage with Deku, and he acted like they were broken up. And we used to have a PMV pidge named Caesar, as well as his mate, who was like a crested fantail that I've shown you guys before, named Delenn. And Penguin started going over their cage and not openly flirting with her, but he was like staying next to her a lot. And he started to give me the idea that, oh, they broke up and Penguin is interested in Delenn. And that was the point. And I was actually kind of sad because they'd been together for like 3 years by that point. And they're the matriarch and patriarch of the whole flock. But anyway, so I was sad, and then one night I noticed that nobody was in this cage. Deku was not there, neither was Penguin, and I went looking for Deku, and lo and behold, Deku was sitting on a clutch of eggs in some tucked away corner, and I was like, oh, nice try, guys. So I moved Deku back into their cage. I replaced their eggs with fakes. And once this guy realized the jig was up, he stopped acting interested in Delenn and came right back home and started being a couple with Deku again. He knew that his pretense had been defeated. So he's a very, very smart boy. So Pidgeotto is his daughter, and she doesn't quite have the same level of intelligence, but like she acts smarter than a typical rock dove. When she doesn't build nests anymore, but she used to do this thing where we'd give them Q-tips, and she figured out how to interlink them into a square in like a Lincoln log type arrangement, where they're all stacked on each other. It was brilliant, and you always see these memes about how pigeons build like the shittiest, most basic nest where they just put a couple pieces of garbage on the ground, like, yep, that's my nest. No, she built these intricate little patterns, these interlocking squares of Q-tips, and her mother actually noticed that and copied her a couple times. But and Pidgeotto is the evolved form of Pidgey in Pokemon. Pidgey was named for Pokemon, and Pidgeotto is Deku's daughter, not related to Pidgey, but Deku and Pidgey always wanted kids, so she's kind of like his spiritual goddaughter. So that's why she's kind of named in his honor. We miss Pidgey. Carrie over here, his full name is Carrie King. Hi, Carrie. He was rescued by a friend of ours, and he was like a little baby, like an adolescent, and he had a feather cyst in his wing, and our friend went all out for him. Like, honestly, a feather cyst in a wing is really easy to take out and clean. And our friend had some veterinary expertise, but she decided to take him to a vet and paid $500 to make sure the wing was completely taken care of in the exact same way. But I digress. Carrie grew up, and our friend loves him a lot, but her living conditions changed. Basically, she couldn't keep animals anymore, so she trusted us with Care Bear. I call him Care Bear sometimes, and this is before his wife was born. So let me zoom out here. You see this gigantic cage? This was the cage that our friend bought Carrie. She spared no expense on him. Look, this is a normal size cage, right? These two. And this thing is bigger than both of those put together. He has a mansion. Anyway, when he moved in with us, he had a stuffed pigeon doll wife. He was very much a human tame bird, and he didn't really like. He actually got okay. So we got him before Penguin, and so there was a brief period where Deku kind of flirted with him, but he didn't understand. He was oblivious. So then we got Penguin. Penguin grew up. They became a couple, and Carrie stayed single. And it was kind of sad for a bit because then he actually for the first time got to witness, like he saw them flirting, and he saw for the first time like what like a pigeon couple was like and what love was, and he started to seem kind of lonely. um, but then they had their daughter, and so Carrie and Penguin used to fight. I told this to one of you guys recently. But when their daughter was born, hostility ceased, and he acted very protective of baby Pidgeotto. And we used to, it's kind of awkward, but we used to call him Uncle Carrie. Um, and then Pidge grew up, and he didn't flirt with her. He didn't pursue her, but she pursued him. And again, having grown up the way he did, he didn't understand. Like so, basically, she had to force it on him, and show him, hey, dude, I want to be your girlfriend. And one day I found them cuddling together in their nesting box, and she was standing over him, and he was wing twitching. And normally you see the male standing over the female, and the female wing twitching and cooing, right? But it was the other way around because she'd sort of forced it and was like, "Look, dude, we're together, okay?" And but he was really happy, and he was like, "Oh, this is what love is. Oh gosh, I like this." So yeah, and and then the last ones here in the Pidge room are Aragorn and Talan, who I've told you guys about. They witnessed their mother be killed by a hawk. They were in a really good hiding spot, and she left the hiding spot to go basically sacrifice herself. The hawk killed her, and thought that's all there was to kill, and moved on, so he wouldn't look for them. Um, yeah, they were little babies under an AC unit, and their mother's corpse was 2 feet, like 2 or 3 feet from the unit. I almost didn't find these two because their hiding spot was so good. Talion over there, he used to cover his sister protectively all the time, and she would hide a lot. So that's how I know that they saw what happened. They were they had some PTSD for a while, understandably. Anyway, those are the guys I have that live in the Pidge room: Talion, Aragorn, Penguin, Deku, Fancy, Scuttle, Care Bear, Pidgeotto, Bob, and Noor.